What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is John Paul Investing. Now, the reason I look so excited right now is because I have looked through a ton of information in their most recent quarterly earnings and I found out a lot more details about Senseonics that you guys are not going to want to miss. So these things include the revenues and how they actually do their accounting. Another big one that you guys are going to love to hear is the contingencies from transitioning out of Roche as their current distribution partner over to Ascensia as their new distribution partner, and the continuation of broad payer acceptance, including one from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So, I mean, the outlook for 2021, based on what I read today in their most recent quarterly earnings, honestly kind of blew my mind. So before I got into the video, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. This way you can get notified when I make videos just like this one, and it's a way for you to show your support for the channel. If you would like access to our private community of close to 100 members now, and access to real-time trade alerts when I buy and sell particular stocks that we talk about here on this channel, go ahead and check out the link in the description to the Patreon group. And last but not least, Webull is still offering up to 4 free stocks if you open an account with them and deposit $100 to the account. Once your funds settle, you will get 4 free stocks which you can then sell and then do whatever you want with that money. So in a sense, this pretty much is free money. The first thing I wanted to point out is that in their most recent 10Q, they did post, the 3 months ended and 9 months ended for 2020 of last year. What I noticed here is that compared from the 3 months ended to the 9 months ended, if we look at 9 months ended, Senseonics looks really unprofitable. And I mean, it is the case that they are unprofitable because, we went from in 2019, an $11 million loss up to almost $20 million in gross profit loss for 2020. However, the light at the end of the tunnel here is that in this most recent quarter, we actually had a pretty substantially positive quarter. If we get both of these revenues, net and net related parties, and add them together, we have $767 million in gross revenues. And after taking out cost of sales, we are actually left with a profit of $835,000. So if we're going to look at, some trends between last year in 2020 and the year prior in 2019, this is showing improvement in the company that they are able to turn a profit now. But I'm going to get to some more details that is really going to point in the direction of a lot more revenues than we expected, and I will show you why later on in the video. Keep watching. We generate product revenue from the sales of the SENS system and related components and supplies at a fixed price to third-party distributors in the European Union and to a network of strategic fulfillment partners in the United States, or collectively customers who then resell the products to healthcare providers and patients. We are paid for our sales directly to the customers, regardless of whether or not the customers resell the products to healthcare providers or the patients. Under the terms of our distribution agreement with Roche, Roche is contractually obligated to make certain minimum purchases of the Eversense XL systems from us, and accordingly, the revenue we recognize for any given period is not necessarily indicative of the level of sales to end users for that or any other period. The revenue from product sales is recognized at the point in time when customers obtain control of our product based upon the delivery terms of the defined contract at an amount that reflects the consideration which we expect to receive in exchange for the product. So what does all of this mean? Well, the first thing is that they sell their Eversense glucose monitors at a fixed price to all of the distributors. So regardless of whatever price the resellers decide to price it at, whether they sell it or not, does not matter for Senseonics because they generate the revenue at a fixed price every single time. At least that's how it's laid out here in the 10Q. The second thing is that they have performance obligations that they have to meet with selling the Eversense glucose monitors to their distributors. So the performance obligations basically state, they have to send it by a certain day or time, and the sale has to be a contractual agreement, and each contract has a contractual price that has to be agreed upon between both parties. In this case, the company, Senseonics, and the customer, which could be any third-party retailer, in order for them to recognize that sale and put it as revenue on the income statement. So if we're going to assume some things, let's look at CV19 right now. Just imagine that there was a bunch of orders in place and, the shutdown started happening and shipments had to turn around, and maybe there was some breaches in performance obligations that they stated, that they agreed upon. If anything goes wrong in the process of the sale, then they can pretty much deny that as a recognizable sale on the income statement. So it could be the case that right now there is a lot of sales that are not recognized in the Q3 earnings that we don't see yet just because contractual performance obligations were not met. And the deduction from that is that we are missing sales right now on Q3 earnings that are not recognized as of yet. The next thing I wanted to point out is the revenue by geographic region. So if you look at the table that I just put up in front of you, everything below the red line is going to be from 2019, and everything above the red line is going to be from 2020, last year. In the 3 months ended September 2019, we will see that the outside of the US sales constituted for almost 88% of Senseonics sales, and 12.2% of the sales were in the US. In 2020, however, for Q3, we had around 33% of sales outside of the US with 66% of the sales inside of the US. So what is going on exactly? Why are we starting to see more sales in the US as opposed to outside of the US when a majority of revenues was coming from outside of the US? And this is the part, honestly, I feel like you guys have all been waiting for. This is the part that really made this company make sense to me right now, where exactly they are in the process of commercializing their product. This is really, huge implications in my opinion, because this is going to open up pretty much the market to the rest of the world for Senseonics. On August 9th, 2020, we entered into a collaboration and commercialization agreement with Ascensia Diabetes Care Holdings, pursuant to which we have granted Ascensia the exclusive right to distribute the company's 90-day Eversense continuous glucose monitor and our 180-day Eversense continuous glucose monitoring system worldwide, with the following initial exceptions. Until January 31st, 2021, the territory does not include countries covered by our current distribution agreement with Roche Diagnostics, which are the Europe, Middle East, and Asia, excluding Scandinavia and Israel, and 17 additional countries including Brazil, Russia, India, and China, as well as select markets in the Asia Pacific and Latin American regions. Until September 13th, 2021, the territory does not include countries covered by our distribution agreement with Ruben Medical, which are Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and 3. Until May 31st, 2022, the territory does not include Israel. We will be responsible for product development and manufacturing, including regulatory submissions, approvals, and registrations, and Ascensia will be responsible for sales, marketing, market access, patient and provider onboarding, and customer support. We have agreed to establish a joint marketing committee with equal representation from each party. So in a nutshell, guys, what this means is right now, Ascensia does not have the entire global market open to be able to sell to them right now because Roche is kind of in the way right now. But that is going to change tonight. January 31st, they are going to essentially open up the markets for Ascensia to distribute the 90-day version, and once they get approval from the 180-day version, to the European market and other regions nearby. So they were not able to do this right now because Roche was not ordering any more products from Senseonics because they knew that this agreement between them was about to expire. So right now it is pretty much kind of a weird period for Senseonics because they're transitioning from Roche as a distributing partner over to Ascensia. And the third wheel in all of this is Ruben Medical. They're just kind of there right now, kind of watching everything pan out as they are a distributor, but a much smaller distributor in that regard. But guys, literally, this opens up the world for Senseonics, and I think this is pretty much big news that would have otherwise been overlooked had you not read their 10Q. So let me know what you think the implications of this are in the comments. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of what I've discovered about Senseonics in their recent 10Q. I'm really glad I dug into it a lot more and started to read a majority of it. I will say that I did not read the whole thing, but these are some of the things that stuck out to me and that I really felt the need to share with you guys because these are really important dates that are essentially going to open up more business for Senseonics. And if you don't read this stuff, it's really easy to miss. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for making it this far in this video. If you liked what you're watching, please go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell notification to get notified when I make videos just like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.